YAHSHUA being all caps there on YouTube. If you'd like to go to YouTube and check us out, we're coming to you live here from Abel, Texas. This is the fulfillment of Mattithyah 16:18, the house of YAHSHUA, and this family and house that YAHSHUA has founded now and established. He is the rock, the Craig, and we are here to serve you today for this Passover. I am Micahyah, the Malik of Revelation 12. We're representing that family of brides during this time of the marriage supper period here in this time period of the 3.5 years mentioned in the time and times, and we're going into that second time period now. The second half of the sorrows is coming quickly now. Yes, Yahadean?
Yes.
These things are quickly approaching now. Just for a quick foundational, all my brothers here and several others in this area testified that they were rejoicing to bring forth YAHSHUA, our King, and we went to the Levitical priest at the house of Yahweh in Clyde, Texas. That's 79510, where the seventh Malik, Yisrayl Abel, under YAHSHUA's guidance, all the way through down to the most minute details, established the seventh era. Yisrayl Abel Hawkins is the seventh Malik. He went to sleep and he left his slave and servant and son in charge, Micahyah, me, and they rejected it. They rebelled and were stiff-necked and rebellious and did not want to receive the glad tidings that our King YAHSHUA is come. YAHSHUA himself, before they thought to cast their brother out, sent me to those priests on the hill, which is just about 3/4 of a mile to the west, and it's on a hill. It's the highest elevation per sea level in the state of Texas, and it represents the altar, and the four corner positions are the four cherubim, represented first by this east sheep gate that belongs to YAHSHUA and his family, the tribe of Yada, all families belonging to YAHSHUA. And so this is that east sheep gate and of the tribe of Yada here. And now this prophesied place, everything you're seeing being prophesied, we're in the barn now of Micahyah, the book of Micahyah, YAHSHUA instructing this family to build the barn. And we've done that. We went to them rejoicing, and they threw each one out. Yes, even Yisrayl, you my sister, who's joining us now here. And we are rejoicing with you in this message. We're sending out a bifold message, first and foremost, that our King YAHSHUA has come, and that he has chosen a boy king, Yahash, YAHSHUA, Yahash, YAHSHUA. And Yahash is learning, he's in training to be caught up, as it says in Revelation 12. We're catching the child up in the laws and the prophecies. So we really need your help with these things. If you're a man or a woman of YAHSHUA, we entreat you all to come join us for the services and for the feast of Passover Unleavened Bread 2025. We're going to move forward now. Now, they thought to throw us out, and they have made spiritual warfare, mocking and scoffing on the hill. But what has done, YAHSHUA has done a marvelous thing. He's taken the outcast and those who were driven away and those that they consider to be the lowliest and the least. And now he's offering and bestowing the highest positions upon his family here, my family. And so we're going to get started here, and we're going to be expounding more on what occurred, that other part of that bifold message, YAHSHUA being the chief and first part of that bifold message and the child he's chosen, and then the exposing the iniquity and the sin of the wicked priest of Baal, who used the word Yahweh and claim to be those who serve and worship YAHSHUA, but do not. So now you will see who worships YAHSHUA, the King of all kings, and who does not. So we're going to get started here, and we're going to open up, and I'm going to light this coal of fire, and I'm going to have Yahkentese. He's going to, if you'll have a seat, son, so Yahkentese can get back there. Thank you. Praise Father YAHSHUA. And I'm going to light this coal of fire here. And we're going to honor and reverence YAHSHUA with the coal of fire. Hot day today here at Abel. Supposed to hit about 100 degrees, so bear with us here. Everyone close by here, you need to be drinking plenty of water. Summertime is closing in on us real quick now. I think we're right there at it. We've got plenty of water. We all love you, and we hope that you enjoyed the Passover meal last night with us. If not, you can check it out on YouTube there at the House of YAHSHUA once again, or you can look look at it and check us out at Micahyah, Michayah Hawkins on Facebook. Micahyah Hawkins, okay? So Yahkentese. If you have to, just to get some of the oil part and you can trim it, you know what I'm saying? And this is the first time this gold menorah is a combined effort of the entire family from the tithes and offerings that were brought forward. And we dedicate this, and Yahadean in opening prayer is going to dedicate in unity a 3 accord, yes, even 4 priests after the order of Melchizedek, and yes, even one of the daughters, Yisrayl. We're going to dedicate the menorah also in the prayer today. Thank you, Yahadean. It's on our King YAHSHUA. Let me trim it out first. Perfect. Beautiful. This was my sister Yisrayl, YAHSHUA's maidservant's idea. We had the menorah and she wanted to paint it gold, and she wanted to have these almond bud oil lamps. What a wonderful idea, my sister Yisrayl, how her sister, your sister, YAHSHUA's daughter, bride and maidservant. She's all things to all women. She's a mother and a wife, a sister, a teacher of righteousness. And YAHSHUA inspired her on this menorah. It's beautiful. Man, that is so beautiful. Yes. Praise YAHSHUA. Awesome. What a beautiful menorah. Yes, brothers? Yes, family? Praise YAHSHUA. All right, we're going to open up with a prayer of reverence YAHSHUA, and then we're going to get into the teachings of the law of the prophets of YAHSHUA our King. Let me put some incense here. See, thank you, Yahkentese. Ready to get going here. We're not running late, but everything is occurring just at the time YAHSHUA knew it would and wanted it to occur, just the way that he wanted it to. He's in full control. And here, I am the steward and the manager of Yisrael's flock at this time, YAHSHUA's flock. Again, of Micahyah, Yaakov, and I include everyone. If Yahkentese, my brother and friend, lights the menorah, I lit it. If Yahadean lights the menorah, I lit it. If the boy king, Yahash, lights it, we all lit it. If I light it, they lit it. This is a family that's in unity. There's no jealousy here, exalting each other one above another. We set each other before ourselves in acts of servitude. And the King of all kings, and first and foremost in our mind, is serving YAHSHUA and others. And setting everyone ahead of ourselves. So Yahadean, if you would go ahead and honor our King YAHSHUA loudly with a quick crystal clear prayer there to honor YAHSHUA, and get started.
Father YAHSHUA, we once again come before you, asking your guidance and wisdom and understanding, bringing your service today on Passover and the things that you'd have us to say. We're dedicating this menorah to your work, Father YAHSHUA, and praise that it will, in ways to show your glory from all the 7 eras on everything that you've done for us, and bringing you forward here in this 7th era. And so we we praise your name, and we want to bring you forward so greatly, our King YAHSHUA. Hosanna to your name, and may you be with us and help us to bring you forward this day. It's in your name, YAHSHUA, we ask, and we give you the honor. Hallelujah, YAHSHUA.
Hallelujah, YAHSHUA. Praise YAHSHUA. Hosanna to King YAHSHUA. We've got, now I want to introduce my beloved brother and friend. I'm getting ready to introduce him. And before we do, I want everybody to look at this beautiful lectern here. Yahkentese, my brother and friend, Yahkentese, Derek, means the way in Hebrew. Derek, Yahkentese, made this sign for YAHSHUA and for his family in the house. And he helped me build this. Yahadean helped in building this cedar lectern for YAHSHUA. And we are in the barn. Everything you see is prophesied. This barn has a parapet up top, which is the law. YAHSHUA told me to build this barn according to prophecy. He is a man among us, is he who serves. YAHSHUA, our King, is come. First Yahadean 5 and verse 20. He appeared to Shaul and many others throughout his ministry. And even after he was resurrected, he is alive forevermore. He is here at Abel. He is the man among us, is he who serves. He's leading and guiding this work. And he always has. YAHSHUA promised that the light of the seventh era would never go out. We are the seed of YAHSHUA. The true seed of Yisrayl, or seed of YAHSHUA, because the secret is Yisrayl is the seed of YAHSHUA Messiah. That's the secret there. So in saying these things, it is my great honor and privilege to introduce to you a man who is been trained up in righteousness and understands these laws and prophecies, and now to lead and guide us, Yahkentese, Derek Yahkentese. Shalom. Shabbat shalom. Please guide us. What you need? Absolutely. Now I'm going to get a bottle of water. Y'all bear with us. It's hot. I'm going to get Yahkentese a bottle of water.
That's mine on the table.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Gotcha. Yeah.
Thank you.
Got water. So bear with us here. Salt, Yah. Here goes your salt. You got some salt in it? Praise YAHSHUA. We're going to get going here. Shabbat shalom. All right.
Shabbat shalom, great family of YAHSHUA. Today is the first day of unleavened bread, Passover and unleavened bread. I just want to thank YAHSHUA for all he's done and is doing, because he's still working. He only had 3 days where he wasn't working. YAHSHUA been on the grind. Been want to be brought forth. This the only person we bring forth of YAHSHUA.
Praise YAHSHUA.
Because YAHSHUA is the only one that's worthy. He is the only one that's worthy. Praise YAHSHUA.
Praise YAHSHUA.
We'll be coming out of Luke, the 9th chapter, page 793 in the books of YAHSHUA. Page 793. The heading is called The Cost of Following YAHSHUA. The cost of following YAHSHUA is verse 57. Out of the 9th chapter of Luke, page 793. Verse 57. Then as they went along the way, a certain man said to him, Teacher, I will follow you wherever you go. But YAHSHUA said to him, Foxes have holes, and birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head. The cost of following YAHSHUA. You may be homeless following YAHSHUA. You may have to go to a place where, You didn't necessarily agree with an individual. You didn't understand an individual. But you have to go to follow Yahshua. The thing formed doesn't say to he that formed it, why are you making me this? Why are you doing it this way? Why is it like this? Everything will get clearer as we keep pursuing. This kingdom here, you will seek for it and find it when you search with all your heart. That's the only way we're going to get access to Yahshua, because he's not going to be second best. We got to have our all in this. Bringing forth Yahshua. It costs to follow Yahshua. This certain man, you can put your people list, you can put your name there. We can put ourselves in this same position as this certain man. Or it could be a woman. This certain individual. Teacher, I will follow you wherever you go. But Yahshua said to him, foxes have holes, and the birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head. The King of all kings, he said this to his disciples, to the people that were listening, that he didn't have a place to stay. But the foxes and the birds do. Because just like Yahshua, our home is not this system what's going on now. Our home and foundation is bringing forth Yahshua. At all costs. Whether we have a roof to lay our head in, a vehicle or not. Another change of clothes or not. We must follow Yahshua at all costs. Then he said to another, follow me. But he said, teacher, first permit me to go and bury my father. Yahshua said to him, let the dead bury the dead, bury their dead. But you go and preach the kingdom of Yahweh. Some people may consider that harsh what Yahshua just told that man. It was a lawful request. Because one is allowed, according to the law, to become contaminated through a dead body, through wife, mother, father, children. That's immediate family. But what Yahshua told him right here was let the dead bury the dead. Because this offer that was offered to him was a once-in-a-lifetime offer. Once-in-a-lifetime offer. The King of all kings, the only sinless man, the greatest teacher, Yahushua Messiah, offered him a position in his family. But he rather deal with dead family. And we have the same problem right now sometimes. Our own family, or not necessarily, or Yahshua family. Our own family, we got the same bloodline. They ain't necessarily Yahshua family. Because Yahshua family follows him. This man wanted to go and bury his father that birthed him. What can that do for him? That's why I didn't go back to Alabama to bury my daddy. What could that do for me? I didn't go. I stayed on the same course following Yahshua. I thought about it. Man, I'm going to get my daddy buried. Nah. Yahshua knew before he sent me this way my daddy was going to die. He knows all. We have a high priest that can't die anymore. He's experienced all that we will encounter and has overcome. So this is where I get my inspiration from and encouragement from. Building with the family of Yahshua, because we know that no matter what we go through, Yahshua gonna provide, and it's gonna be well with our soul.
Right.
This individual in verse 60 said, Yahshua said to him, Yahshua said, let the dead bury their dead. The G1 footnote say, we may not follow what seems best to us. We may not follow what seems best to us, but only Yahweh's calling. And here be dead, and hereby dead, he means those that are unprofitable to serve Yahweh. Now, we're serving Yahshua. We're not serving Yahweh, people. The kingdom belongs to Yahshua. Yahweh said, I give my son all these. He has complete control about everything that I own and did. And so everything belongs to Yahshua. This is where the mix-up comes, because people still want to give praise to Yahweh. But the kingdom belongs to Yahshua. And another also said, verse 61, Teacher, I will follow you, but first let me go and bid farewell to those of my family who are at my house. See, these people the people that he was considering family, he was looking through the wrong set of eyes. He was looking through the wrong set of eyes. And we do it sometimes. But we have to remember that our family, Yahshua's family, is built on the laws and the prophets. And we don't fail to congregate ourselves together at the proper time, at the right time. And see, that's why we got this the new moon tower above the barn, so we can go up there and spot the new moon. Because if you don't spot the moon, things can't be set in order like Yahweh said it to be done. Everything is set by the moon. Farmer's Almanac, you learn how to plant by the moon. You learn when the Sabbath is by the moon. All the feasts, they set by the moon. But you won't learn that and know that, and it won't be drilled into you unless you come out down to the house of Micahyah Eternal, the family of Yahshua, where we bring forth strictly Yahshua Messiah, always. And we have counted up the cost. And no matter what comes our way, we're going to serve Yahshua. We're going to bring him forth. We're going to bring Yahshua forward at all costs. So this individual in the 61st verse, he said, he wanted to go. He told Yahshua that he needed to go to his house, to his family, and bid him farewell. Bye, sister. Bye, brother. Mama. dad, cousin. Each individual has a responsibility to answer a call. And nobody is to perceive that or block it. Because if you allow somebody to do that, then you're showing the importance of this calling versus somebody else. We each got an allotted amount of time. We got enough time to do what we're supposed to do. Being diligent, keeping in remembrance that YAHSHUA is the reason for the season. It's because of YAHSHUA we're being passed over. And the not eating of the leavened bread, it represents the humbleness. And we know that leaven represents sin, all of it in a total view. Leaven represents, because all it takes is just a little leaven and the whole batch will be contaminated, or it will rise up. And that's what sin does. All it takes is a little bit. We can't get it right doing wrong. You can't go left doing right. You can't go right doing left. The scripture said we're not gonna look to the left or the right. We're gonna stick straight on this course. Verse 62, and YAHSHUA said to him, no man who puts his hand to the plow, then looks back, is fit for the kingdom of Yahweh. Now that we're on this journey, the towel, right?
Towel?
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it. No man who puts his hand to the plow, to this work, and looks back is fit for the kingdom of Yahweh. Once you get the realization and the understanding that we have come to, we know that there's nothing else for us. If we look back and turn back, we're not under any pretense. We know it's only one way, and that's through YAHSHUA, through his family, in his house. Praise YAHSHUA. I want to jump back a few verses on this at the same chapter, verse 49. It said, he who is not against us is for us. He who is not against us is for us. Yahkentese answered and said, teacher, we saw one casting out demons in your name. Now notice, it said in YAHSHUA name, not Yahweh. The demons were cast out in YAHSHUA name. Now this was before YAHSHUA even went to the cross. The stake. This was before he even went to the stake and got sacrificed. The demons were already being cast out in YAHSHUA name. And we forbade them. The disciples forbade them. Told them, no, don't do this. Don't do that. Y'all can't do that. Because he does not follow with us. So because they didn't see YAHSHUA give those people authority to do what they did, they said they couldn't do it. They said Yisrayl didn't give us the power that we have. And he didn't. Yahushua did.
Very good.
Well, one of us, he told Micahyah, Yahushua ordained all of us. He spoke through Yisrayl and told Micahyah. Verse 50, but Yahushua said to them, do not forbid him, for he who is not against us is for us. So how do you know if somebody is against you? Because these people, they thought that these people were against them because they were casting out demons. So how do you know if somebody is against you or not? Because they seemed like they was confused and realizing that those people that was casting the demons out were not against them. They were actually doing the works. But for some reason, they couldn't recognize that. Sometimes we can blind our own selves because we want to be the ones doing the works. Or doing the works that somebody else doing instead of doing the works that we're commissioned to do at the time. And this seems like one of the prime examples right here because they was casting demons out and using Yahushua Messiah's name, but the disciples said, y'all can't do that. Because they wanted to do it. You know, they had went to Yahushua and said, we want to know who going to be at your left hand and your right hand. And Yahushua told them that's reserved for my Father in heaven. They got certain spots for everybody. The kingdom belongs to Yahushua. Just like the plaque says right here. Yahushua is the reason for the season. Yahushua is why I rejoice. Yahushua is why I have hope. Yahushua is why I'm speaking right now. 20 minutes in. Praise Yahushua.
We got the time right. Go 21. 25 more.
Praise Yahushua. But Yahushua said to them, do not forbid him, for he who is not against us is for us. Our family is here. Our family brings forth Yahushua Messiah. We strive to keep all the feast days, all the Sabbaths in accordance with the setting of the moon. The family, the Bayith of Yahushua Messiah. Family of Yahushua Messiah strictly goes by the lunar calendar. Strictly. We don't have any parts to do with sun worship. Read back. Same chapter, verse 46. Then a controversy arose amongst them about which of them would be greatest. And Yahushua, understanding the thoughts in their minds, took a child and set him by him and said to them, whoever will receive this child in my name receives me. And whoever receives me also receives him who sent me. And he who is least among you all, the same will be great. Now this is the same thing that YAHSHUA is doing. He has brought a child, Yahash, is set before the whole world through this family of YAHSHUA. And the same thing is being said. Whoever receives this child in YAHSHUA's name receives YAHSHUA. And whoever receives YAHSHUA also receives him who sent him. And he who is least among you all, the same will be great. So like this was in their mind, this confusion and not understanding how the kingdom is set up is the reason why they told those people don't cast out these demons in YAHSHUA's name, because they want to be the greatest one. They want to be looked at as doing these works. Any works that we do to bring forth YAHSHUA is great. Whether a demon being cast out, an encouragement to somebody, as long as they stay on this path, that's great. That's great. More people, we're going to increase because we're the mustard seed. The scripture said that we're going to be the biggest and the most bushiest plant in the garden. All we got to do is stay bringing forth YAHSHUA. I need to look over in Ephesians, I think it's the 6th chapter. Page 919, I think it's the 5th chapter. No, it's 6th chapter, 920, page 920. The whole armor of YAHSHUA. See, we got to keep this. We got to keep the armor of YAHSHUA on at all times, so we won't be swayed to and fro by these doctrines of men. Verse 10, finally, my brothers, strengthen yourselves in YAHSHUA and in the power of his might. Now I know a lot of y'all that had the books of Yahweh, it's going to have Yahweh there. But this is an upgrade. YAHSHUA on the scene. YAHSHUA, the kingdom belongs to YAHSHUA, so YAHSHUA's name is placed there. Put on the whole armor of YAHSHUA. Verse 11. That you will be able to stand against the wiles, crafty schemes, ways of the devil. For we wrestle not only against flesh and blood, but also against principalities, against powers, and against the darkness of against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual forces of the evil one in the heavens. The side note E, right there for powers, it says delegated, influence, force, authority, jurisdiction. For principalities, it got place or rank, rule. The spiritual forces, F. Just lead me to Isaiah 14:12. So with the armor of Yahushua, we'll be to recognize these spiritual forces, these principalities, these authorities that be of man that's established, well, they're established by Satan. But she used man to carry it out. It says powers delegated influence, force, authority, jurisdiction. Satan uses religion. She uses religion. See, we don't got no religion. We have a relationship. We're family.
Praise us.
Yeah, we're family. We ain't religious. Now we family orientated. Therefore, take up the whole armor of Yahushua, that you will be able to withstand in the evil day, and having overcome all, to stand. Stand therefore, having your waist belted with the truth, having put on the breastplate of righteousness. And righteousness, that side note, is going back to Deuteronomy 6:25. We know that the righteousness is the laws, are the laws of Yahushua, laws of his kingdom. Verse 15. And having shod your feet with the preparation of the message of peace. Now in the 9th chapter, Yahushua had told him, he said, now you go. Verse 6 of Yahushua told him, he said, now Yahushua said to him, let the dead bury their dead, but you go and preach the kingdom of Yahweh. Now, in order to preach the kingdom, you got to be prepared. So, this full armor is preparation. So like in verse 15 on page 920, it says that having shod your feet with preparation of the message of peace. So we can't preach or teach if we haven't prepared. If we haven't prepared. It's like breathing, like just opening the scriptures. It's just like a breath of fresh air.
Praise us.
Praise Yahushua. Above all, verse 16, taking the shield of faith, with which you will be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked one, and take the helmet of salvation, and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of Yahushua, words of Yahweh, the law and the prophets. Pray always with all entreaty and supplication in the Spirit. To this end, keep watch with all perseverance, always interceding for all the saints. And pray on my behalf also, that utterance will be given to me at the opening of my mouth, to boldly make known the great secret of the message, on behalf of which I am an ambassador in a chain, in order that in it I will speak boldly as I must speak. Praise Yahushua. Great secret of the message. Verse 24. May mercy be with all those who love our ruler, Yahshua Messiah, in incorruptibility. Hallelujah, Yahweh. Or Ahab, our ruler. So it's no mercy if we don't have our ruler Yahshua. Now, 90% of all these epistles, letters, they ended them, and opened them in reference to Yahshua. If you look the next page over right here, Shaul and Timothy, servants of Yahshua Messiah, to all the saints in Yahshua Messiah who are in Philippi, with the elders and deacons. The kingdom belongs to Yahshua people. You can't say his name enough. We can't say his name enough, give him enough thanks. This is the unity. This is the Yahshua unity. That we only bring forth Yahshua. And Yahshua bring forth everybody. Each in their time. Each in their spot. I mean, I'm just a toe jam. Somebody got to stand up. Can't stand up without toes. Not probably might wobble a little bit because they say the toes help balance. I think Yahshua, we 10 toes down. We 10 toes down. We gonna serve. We gonna bring forth Yahshua. No matter what. No matter who don't.
We have about 15 more minutes, y'all. Here you go. You get 10 minutes. You can go.
Look at verse 19 over here on page 921. To live is Messiah. To die is gain. For I know that this will result in salvation to me through your prayers and further supply of the Spirit of Yahshua Messiah, according to my earnest expectation and hope that I will be ashamed in nothing, but that with all boldness, as always, that now Messiah will also be magnified in my body, whether by life or by death. All praise to Yahshua. For to me to live is Messiah, and to die is gain. If, however, it is to be life in the flesh, that means fruitful service for me. So I can say nothing as to what I would choose. For I am hard pressed between two. For I have the yearning to depart, and in the end to be with the Messiah, which is far better. However, to remain in the flesh is more necessary on your account, on account of you. And having this confidence, I know that I will remain and continue with you all for your advancement and joy of the faith, in order that your rejoicing will be more abundant in Yahshua Messiah through my coming to you again. See, it's certain knowledge and awareness that you have, that we have access to through following Yahshua Messiah. We know that through following Yahshua Messiah, nobody will stop this plan. We will accomplish everything that he has sent us out to do. Just like he accomplished everything that he was sent out to do. Death can't stop us. Can't no damn earthquake stop us. Can't no power surge stop us. Nothing can stop us but refusing of our own self to do this work. That's it. And we're not refusing. We're going to go if don't nobody else come this way. Because it ain't, our hope ain't based on that. All we got to do is do what we supposed to do. And Yahashua going to do what he said he going to do. Because the gold and the silver, which represents the people, belong to Yahashua. People are more valuable than possessions, than land, than houses, farm animals, people. Like me, like the people that hear me. These are valuable people. And Yahashua won't let you be put to shame once you call upon his name and stand out and trust completely in him. Can't be wishy-washy. If you deny him, he gonna deny you. So we're taking the same stance. It ain't hocus pocus. We're being Yahashua Messiah till he physically shows up and be like, yeah, this me. But the King of Kings, he ain't gonna do that. Not right now. He got people that's gonna go and keep going. Just like the president got people on go. Yahashua is greater than the president. Wherever the president tell those people to go, they gonna go. Wherever he send the generals, they gonna go. We the same way. But the only difference with us, we don't answer to the men. We just answer to Yahashua. And he don't gotta take counsel with them about whatever he's gonna do. He just pop out with it. Because contrary to popular belief, Yahashua is in full control. And ain't nobody saying, Alu Akbar, don't scare him. Oh, that was so funny, man. That was so funny. These people, they do all this devilment. Then the threat that some harm was going to come to them, they got scared. All praise to Yahashua. That we don't have a spirit of fear, but a love, peace, and a sound mind. Verse 24, however, to remain in the flesh is more necessary on account of you. And having this confidence, I know that I will remain and continue with you all for your advancement and joy of the faith. And we have the same confidence and assurance. This is what Yahashua has started through us will continue on. And it will grow and it will blossom. Verse 26, in order that your rejoicing will be more abundant in Yahashua Messiah through my coming to you again. So this is my hope, to encourage the body of believers, the body of Yahashua Messiah, to continue keep pressing on, keep pushing. Because our light will not be put out. These lamps will stay lit. Stand fast in unity. Verse 27. Only let your conduct be worthy of the message of the Messiah, so that whether I come and see you or whether I am absent, I may hear of your affairs, that you stand fast in one spirit, with one mind, contending together in the faith of the message, and not being frightened by your adversaries in any way, which is a sign to them of their destruction and a sign of your salvation. And this is from YAHSHUA. For it has been granted to you on behalf of Messiah, not only to believe upon him, but also to suffer on behalf of him, waging the same struggle and trial with danger, which you saw in me and now here is still in me. So I just want to encourage you, family, we just continue to stand. Continue to stand. Don't look back. YAHSHUA is with us, always and forever. This work will only increase. Only increase. Praise YAHSHUA. With that, introduce Yahadean Elder Yahadean Messiah. Praise YAHSHUA.
Praise Joshua.
Oh, praise YAHSHUA. Oh.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
We're going to be going forward a little bit, talking about the Passover, and so if you guys would end with some a little more instruction on what areas that we've already covered in. We're going to the Book of Exodus, and 12, 15, and that's on page 54. And this is just reminders, bringing us all back into the time frame of mind that we're in right now, the Passover, and that just as Moshe was bringing the children of Yisrayl out of Egypt, we have to keep in mind that in this time period, YAHSHUA is instructed his servant Micahyah to, and those here at the house of YAHSHUA, house of Micahyah, co-eternal, that the instructions are coming here under YAHSHUA's servant Micahyah to help you to understand the Passover and the changes that are necessary that had to be changed from Egypt, and like that time as they were brought out of Egypt and crossing the Jordan, the YAHSHUA will be having his flock come out in the spiritual sense, parallel crossing the Jordan when they come down here to the house of YAHSHUA down here, coming out of the hill from Egypt. They will be being brought down this way. So we're going to start here, getting into the Passover with Exodus 12. We're going to verses 15 through 20. And this is just to get our mind frame back into everyone that we're supposed to be concentrating on YAHSHUA, and this is the Passover time that we have to continually keep in our minds, and what the Passover was talking about. The Passover were those that were spared, in the same way that YAHSHUA's sheep will be spared and passed over when they are obedient and come off the hill of wickedness, Bethel. And so we're going to read a little bit now on 12, 15 through 20. 7 days you must eat unleavened bread. On the day before you must remove leaven from your houses. And as the servants of YAHSHUA here in this place, we understand that leaven is the puffed up pride. YAHSHUA's servant Micahyah reminded us today, talking with the boy king about the puffed up pride, that the arrogance of those up on the hill, Egypt, that they continue to have, standing against, trying to stand against YAHSHUA. We know this is a vain attempt. They will fail, and they bring about their own utter destruction. But continuing on, 7 days you must eat unleavened bread, verse 15. On the day before you must remove leaven from your houses. For whoever eats leavened bread from the first day through the 7th day of YAHSHUA's feast of unleavened bread, that person will be cut off from Israel. During this time period, we have to work together in a unity. Once again, YAHSHUA's servant Micahyah and YAHSHUA's other servant, Yahkentese. There's no jealousy or pride in this place. We're at unity with whatever we do, and we're not going to have that puffed up pride and arrogance in our minds. YAHSHUA is our head, and what he tells us to do, we will do. And verse 16 here, on the first day there shall be a holy convocation. Okay? And on the 7th day there shall be a holy convocation. These are 2 high holy days that are repeated on these high holy days. We're to take a deeper look inside ourselves. It's the spiritual connection here that we have to let go of pride, arrogance, and work together in a unity to bring forth the only one that deserves honor, YAHSHUA, who is the reason why that death and destruction are passed over us. And so in this time frame, we know under the Levitical priesthood that these were weak and feeble in a general sense, that the strength of the law and the prophets is in YAHSHUA. The greatest shepherd, the strength of his father, YAHSHUA, him and his father are one. They're not divided as they'd have you think up on the hill. And so And going forward with this, that we keep in mind the unity and trying to have that humbleness of spirit. And the same way YAHSHUA, in spite of all that he suffered, he kept that humbleness because of his ahab for his family. And so in the same way that those that came out of Egypt were spared because they acted obediently. They did what they were told to do by Yahshua's leader at that time, Moshe. And we have another Moshe now, Yahshua's servant Micahyah, and another great leader, strong, courageous, our brother Yahkentese, like Yahshua ben Nun. So we have a combination in this house, and we have the boy king we're trying to bring forward also during this Passover. And so we're going on here on this day, and no manner of work shall be done on these days, except that which everyone must eat, that only may be done by you, pertaining to what you eat, the usual services about eating there. And in verse 17, and you must observe the feast of unleavened bread, for it was on this very day that Yahushua brought your divisions out of Egypt. Therefore, you shall observe this day throughout your generations by ordinance forever. Verse 18, in the first moon, on the 14th day of the moon at even, you must eat unleavened bread until the 21st day of the moon at even. So these are the instructions. Verse 19, 7 days, no leaven shall be found in your houses. Whoever eats what is leavened. In the same parallel, during this time period, we can't have that puffed up pride, arrogance. During this time period is the time also of reflection of what Yahshua has done for us, paying the greatest price there was. He did not deserve the death that they put him through, and so we are remembering him during this Passover time. 7 days, no leaven shall be found in your houses, for whoever eats what is leavened, that same person shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel, whether a stranger or a native of land. This emphasizes the unity that they all have to achieve in working together, in working with the instructions of Yahushua and his servant Micahyah down here. And whoever that Yahushua or servant Micahyah instructs, and others down here that under the other shepherds down here, under Yahshua's servant Micahyah, we listen to Micahyah's instructions, and so pertaining to this, we are continuing to bring forth the Passover in the unity of the unleavened, eating the unleavened bread for 7 days. And this is also for whether there are a stranger or a native of the land. Verse 19, verse 20, you must eat nothing leavened in all your habitations. You must eat unleavened bread. Okay, so we're gonna kind of stop on that one here, and we're gonna go over now we're going to check my notes here. We're going over to Hebrews 7, chapter 7, page 946. Okay, is everyone on 946? Okay, so we're going. I'm going to try to cover this whole chapter really quickly, and explaining that. Remember back during Moshe's time, we just got through talking about the Passover and the parallel. Now we're having the Passover also under Micahyah. He is a type of Moshe, and so in bringing this forward, that back then they were a Levitical priesthood, and that was just a shadow to bring forward the true shadow of protection, which is the tree of life representation from our King YAHSHUA Messiah. And so we're going to start to read. The caption there says the King of Righteousness, the King of Peace, and then it says Levi paid tithes through Abraham. We're going to go into a little bit further in-depth study of why the priesthood during that time period had of a necessity. It had to be changed. We said yesterday that the animal sacrifices were no longer necessary, and I'm correcting that, take it one step further today. No animal sacrifices, nothing of that sort was meant to be in place by source. Animal sacrifices, the animal sacrifice that started before the children of Israel, and that we have to go back to the time periods that were before Cain in order to, I'm just going to briefly put you in a short segment of history here in order to help necessary bringing forward the change in the priesthood. Adam was instructed, and he was by no means, he was found with sin, although Adam repented, which is the right thing to do, to repent of the sin that he had in Genesis. But in the same sense that back in that time period, Adam and Eve's children had to take husbands and wives. Remember that the genealogical record of Genesis, the garden episode in Genesis, was just dealing with the instruction period on the timeline where Adam and Eve were Father Yahweh, source, Father YAHSHUA will be the one created the things necessary, and they had to have wives and husbands to intermarry. There were cities there before in Ur and other areas, that when the fallen ones came here, they were I believe it's the third, fourth, or fifth generation. The fallen ones were the mixture of the Anunnaki, and the Anunnaki means those who came from the heavens to earth. They weren't all one particular type of beings. They were beings. They came as a kind of a collective group of those that after the war in heaven, when you might consider it similar to a divorce in this time period, where a husband and wife go through a divorce, and there was a split up. Hillel going out into the bottomless pit on all the levels, with her ability to create life from the dust, and taking with her about a third of the fallen ones. This history has to be put in place correctly for you to understand the reasoning in this. Other than that, it really doesn't necessarily have a bearing. Our King YAHSHUA will always be righteous and always be doing what Father what Source wants him to do. He is Source. And so, in that reasoning, Hillel previously created cities built by in the pyramids and the other things that came before the garden account in certain reflections. It was generally stretched out over a course of time, and there were cities around the garden area, but remember, there was always a difference between the mixtures, the humans, and mankind. Remember, Father Yahweh made his man in his image, and that perfect image was YAHSHUA. And so the line had to come from Adam all the way down through YAHSHUA, and right now it proceeds forward in the line through YAHSHUA's servant Micahyah, and the boy King Yahash right now, and Yahkentese, and those are in the family bloodline that has been hidden for a long periods of history. And so as this thing, the difference between why the cities were built up ahead of time, it was unlawful in the law for the children of to marry their own sister or their own brother, and it still is unlawful. And so when Adam and Eve had children and Cain killed Abel, the other children still had to take wives. There had to be others present. Everyone has the idea that this garden time, there was no one on the earth at the garden time. Okay, no. They wouldn't have been, their children would not have been able to take husbands and wives lawfully unless there were others already there. Okay? So that shows you where the timeline during that Hillel had gone about mixing her humans, and the word hue is an Anunnaki word, just like the word mu for mother. Hillel has always been the troubler down through the eras of the nations, bringing forth the fertility and the solstice calendar, as our brother Yahkentese reinforced today. here. The sun calendars are never acceptable. It has to be the lunar calendar, just like the keeping of Passover has to be on a lunar calendar, not on the solar calendar. But because there were children when they left the garden, Adam and Eve, there had to be the other cities there. And so what started occurring was that the religions started intermarrying, creeping into the trying to get into the righteous bloodline over the years, and so down through that we had the disunity. It doesn't mean that any of the humans. It does not mean that they cannot choose to worship Father Yahweh also. There's a lot of the mixed bloodlines on most of on the flat plane today. I would say I don't know exactly what the percentage is of the humans mixed with the man, where the DNA has gone off course, but the original bloodline that was supposed to be kept intact is been protected and hidden, coming down through Yahshua's bloodline, through his family, and there was all DNA from all colors in Yahshua's bloodline. In every white man's background, there's a black man. In every black man's background, there's a white man, Asian, different mixtures. But the point I'm making is, no matter what color we are, blue, purple, green, orange, whatever, from whatever level, the point is we all serve one, and that is Yahshua, and all color comes from Yahshua. Okay? And I'm not trying to make this into a color thing right now. I'm just telling you where the timeline was in the garden, that Cain, after killing Abel, when he left, he went and dwelt in the land of Nod. Okay, and there were cities around. These were the Sumerian cities, and where the Anunnaki had come. Like I said, I don't want to spend much time on the different groups that came, rays, reptilians, and other things. That's not really something that needs to really be come out with all the other. But Hillel had been mixing things, as she was the tree of mixture, and trying to pervert and pollute the bloodline. And so, and the point I'm making is that no matter what color we are or having a mixture, we can still learn to choose to keep the Passover and keep the appointed time feast of Yahushua. And so I'm going to proceed a little bit forward. The reasoning why the change in the priesthood and why the animal sacrifices came in with Hillel. She instituted the sun worship, the fertility worship calendars, long before Yahweh created man in the garden. Okay? It said in Genesis, in the beginning. Okay? All right? But that was the account of Genesis. But I'm not saying in the very beginning, on the account of Adam. Okay? All right? Because there were other cities already there around Adam. And the reasoning that Yahweh had his man, because the bloodline had become so polluted that he had to bring forward the coming, which was the white buffalo, Yahushua. And what occurs when a white buffalo is born, it's no better than a brown buffalo. But Yahushua, yes, is our head, and he deserves honor, and he is in the spiritual sense, better than all of us. Perfect. No blemish, spot, or anything. But in order to reverse the DNA in the bloodline pollution, there had to be the perfect balance of the DNA, which crops up like when a white buffalo is born in so many thousands of generations. The white buffalo symbolizes everything coming back to a state of unity and pureness and cleanliness. And this could only be done through our King YAHSHUA. By him, a perfect man, not deserving to die, he was killed. Source, and he was the closest being ever, being one with Father Yahweh, and like the boy king now, Yahash, to being that perfection where the bloodline could be go back like with the white buffalo, taking out the DNA imperfections, and so all of the course of the errors was waiting, and during the time back when Moshe went Passover back then, that was a shadow, and so the necessity being that the Levitical priesthood, which was never as perfect, which was never as perfect, had to be restored, the bloodline back. Okay, so now we're going to go quickly through chapter 7 and why the change in the Levitical priesthood now is occurring under the order of Melchizedek. Okay, so we see verse 1 for this Melchizedek, king of Salem, that means king of peace. And who is the Melchizedek? Micahyah has taught us down here the Melchizedek is YAHSHUA, the representation. Although the king of Salem, a priest of YAHSHUA Most High, meeting Abraham. And so we're going to go down, further down there, and we're going to verse 5, and it says, and truly those who are the sons of Levi, who receive the office of the priesthood, have a commandment to receive tithes from the people according to the law, the brothers, and we're going back down, and it says, verse 10, for he was still in the loins of his father when Melchizedek met him. That was Abraham. Okay, so now we're going over here. Verse 11, therefore, if perfection were through the office of the Levitical priesthood, for under it the people have furnished with the law, what further need was there for another priest should rise according to the order of Melchizedek, and not be called according to the order of Aaron? So, with the necessity, now that the change in the priesthood being authorized, written by YAHSHUA and authorized now to the order of Melchizedek, and YAHSHUA being the reason what the truest, sincerest form of the Passover representation is. Here, the priesthood, Levitical priesthood being dissolved, their authority they've lost. They've done Son and God, Elohim worship on the hill. They're trying to change the headship to females on the hill, bringing it back to the plan that Hillel wants for the destruction and burning up there on the hill for those offering to her, Astarte, Venus. She has many multiplicity of names and so forth. So then we're verse 12, for when there is a transfer of the priestly office out of necessity, there is also a transfer of the law of the priesthood. Okay, so YAHSHUA has given the staff to his servant Micahyah down here. He was told by YAHSHUA directly to YAHSHUA, and YAHSHUA told directly to Micahyah that the staff. Yahushua, Father Yahweh told him, Yahushua, and Yahushua spoke and directly told Micahyah that Father Yahweh wanted the rod to be given to Yahushua. Father Yahweh and Yahushua are one. And now with the change of the headship, now as Father Yahushua going on from being high priest to becoming merging into that perfect frequency, just like the boy king now merging with perfect frequency with Yahushua in this time period, and we're in the parallel this Passover now, just like Yeshua we brought out last night, the boy king bringing out Passover, and the boy king now Yahash bringing forth the Passover yesterday. And now we're going to go on a little bit here. Verse 16, who has become a priest, not on the basis of command concerning his physical ancestry, but on the basis of the doctrine that leads to eternal life. And that's the life, the golden oil that's of the glad tidings that are within the rainbow, that is within the living microbials, within Yahushua. They're coming forward down here, and through those that Yahushua has a protected bloodline over the hill that will come out, and they will be down here bringing him forward also. And verse 17 here, he testifies, you are a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. Now, verse 18, now there comes about, on the one hand, the annulment of the weak and unprofitable because of the law which came before it. And notice it said weak, okay? And the footnote on the side there, the law appointed weak men. And that also we see in Hebrews 7:28 there, okay? For the verse 19, for the law concerning priesthood perfected nothing, but is an introduction of better hope, and that our hope is in Yahushua. Without him, there is no hope. Okay, so through which we draw near to Yahushua. That's our hope, and it was not without an oath. And though you on the hill, you took an oath and a covenant, and you violated your covenant with Yahushua. And the only way to get back in right with Yahushua is come off the hill, come down here, confess Yahushua is your king, confess that the wicked priests of Baal under Hillel up there, they were wrong, you're wrong in doing that, and then be prepared to stand for the reading of the law, which we spoke of yesterday. The boy king helped to bring that forward, and those in his family. The reading of the law has to be done, and it's renewing of the covenant, and just like the renewing of the covenant of the boy king Yahash right now. So going ahead quickly to close this out, for verse 21 or 20, it was not without an oath, for they became priests without an oath. But he with an oath by him who said to him, Yahushua has vowed and will not relent. You are a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. And Yahushua told Micahyah, if I can get Micahyah to interject in one spot, that can you elaborate very quickly on the story that Yahushua told you that being a priest after the word of Melchizedek, isn't that enough? Can you elaborate what he told you on that? That he already spoke to you about the change in the priesthood?
And that those offices were preordained and set, and have nothing to do with the Levitical office, that office of the Levitical priesthood will be completely dissolved in the fire that's coming, according to the prophecy. And that I was preordained, as a priest to Yahshua, and that this family and those who join themselves to this work will be priests and priestesses unto Yahshua. He told me that himself.
Praise Yahshua. And let's go on to the end and close this out now. Yahshua has vowed and will not relent. You are a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. And by this, it is so much better because Yahshua has become the guarantor of the covenant. He's the reason, and we remember on his memorial and through Passover that he's the reason the destroyer doesn't come down and destroy us. Because he is the one that holds flesh together from source. And so we're going on now, but it says, verse 23, now there truly were many priests because they were prevented by death from continuing in office. But he, because he lives forever, has an untransferable priesthood. Therefore he, Yahshua, is able to save continuously to the end those who come to Yahshua through him, since he always lives to make intercession for them. For such a high priest is fitting for us, is holy, harmless, undefiled, separate from sinners, and made higher than the heavens, who does not need daily, as those mortal high priests, to offer sacrifices. We don't need to offer animal sacrifice. Before in ancient times, Hillel got in under the sun calendar and started altering sacrifices, and and a lot of times the fabric of the weaving of the sun solstice into the fabric of the cloth, it has made it unclean. Okay. Verse 27, who does not need daily as a mortal to offer up sacrifice, first for their own sins and then for the people's. For this he did once and for all when he offered up himself. For the law concerning priesthood appoints men, and you can see that in the side footnote, Hebrews 7:12, appoints men who have weaknesses. The law, and that was back during that time period. That was the time where it had weaknesses as high priest. But the word of the oath promised to the Son, because source trusts the Son and will accept no other, but based on what the Son has done, and now he's allowing us to be passed over under him. When you come off the hill and come down here, you have the shadow of protection down here. Okay? So now we're going to close it out now. But the word of the oath promised to the Son appoints him, Yahshua, who has been perfected by means of the law forever. And I'm closing this out with a final statement. Unity is down here. We are still in training. Myself, Micahyah, Yahkentese, King, the child, boy king, Yahash, Yisrayl, we're still under training. And so, and that's why I had to make the correction that concerning the animal sacrifices, to take it to a deeper level, that they were never really necessary in the reasoning that Yahshua is the only one that could take away sins. It was never about the blood of bulls and goats in that reasoning. So I leave you with that. Shabbat Shalom. Y'all enjoy your Passover here. And now I'm turning the feast under to Yahshua's servant Micahyah with great honor.
Praise Joshua. Awesome. Praise Yahshua. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, family of Yahshua. Is everyone enjoying unleavened bread? Give this back to my beloved brother and friend, Yahadean. Yahshua is the manna come down in the wilderness out of the Creator. That is the bloodline. Man cannot live by bread alone, but by the spiritual bread, the life-giving bread. The law is the life. It is the spirit. It is the life. And YAHSHUA is the law and the prophets made manifest in the flesh. That manna is the bloodline that was guarded all the way down. I'm nothing. Everything that I have learned has come from YAHSHUA. Everything anyone learns comes from YAHSHUA. We feed on that bread. We feed on YAHSHUA. And from YAHSHUA to Yisrayl to all of those who I served and still long to serve and serve, of Israel's children from the seventh era, those who are gathered here, we're all learning from YAHSHUA. One Father, YAHSHUA, one faith, YAHSHUA, and one baptism. And that baptism is with the zeal, that fire, that Yahash. And that's what the boy king's name that we're bringing forward is. When we bring forward YAHSHUA's will, we're bringing forward each other. It's the byproduct, once again, is increase when we bring forward YAHSHUA. This is the house of YAHSHUA. And again, I've learned from everyone else. Mine today is going to be more of a law and prophecy class. We're going to be starting in Psalms 78. It's on page 464 in your life-giving books of Yahweh YAHSHUA. And again, like I said, I've learned from everyone else. And that being said, Yahash, the boy king, was studying this feast and pointed these things out to me. We'd worked a lot. He was laying on the couch there in the living room. And he said, "Hey, Micahyah, check out this scripture." And he began to read. And the first night that he came in, they got out of the car, they unpacked for the feast, and they settled in. And he opened up his book of YAHSHUA, and he turned to Psalms 19. And so, Isaiah 19, correction. So we're going to do a study. I hope I can get it done. It might be a two-part thing. I don't, YAHSHUA is the deliverer. We see that throughout from the beginning of the life-giving scriptures to the end. He is the Redeemer. His life that he lives. Yes, his innocence shed blood, but the life that he lives, he's always been a deliverer. He has that mindset always to deliver people out of danger and to deliver them into safety. And his foundation always being the law and the prophets. They're always in the forefront of his mind. But we want to see that parallel, because where we're at right now, everything in Revelations is unfolding, in that book is unfolding in real time at very rapid speed right now with the seventh era baptized members, whether it be a positive connotation here at the house of YAHSHUA with the plan to bring forward YAHSHUA our King, in the boy king, Yahash of his choosing from that bloodline family of Yada, or whether it would be the negative connotation of the Levitical priest who thought to cast my family out, Yeshua's choice of bloodline, who are gathered here in this sanctuary, this prophesied protected place here that we're in now. And so in saying that, I really want to bring a prophetic message. I'm very thankful because, again, like I said, I've learned so much. Now as we progress forward from Yahash, the boy king, I've learned so much from Yahadean and Yahkentese, the Malachim that YAHSHUA has sent to me. And it's important for me to remind everyone that YAHSHUA is a man, and he lives in Abel. He is in Abel, at Abel. Yahkentese said he could be no other place but in the house of Yahweh at this last part of the plan, this phase of the plan. The plan is a 7,000-year plan. Yes, even it's eternal. At this point here, YAHSHUA has chosen to reveal himself to his elect and his remnant, and he has sent me with those glad tidings to do so. So please understand my desire to ahab you and to serve you. Everyone's ahab and desire to serve you here for you all. though also recognize, as I appreciate Yahkentese with the boldness he brought in Ephesians that Shaul showed our forefather, that I have to show that because our charge is to catch up the boy king, Revelation 12. That child must be made in Yahshua's likeness and image. The boy king, Yahash, like it, leave it, love it, or not, is the atonement child for the family of Yeshua that he chose.
Praise Yahshua.
Praise Yahshua. He chose all of us. And everyone who works with Yahash and for him and serving him, he is going to become a servant and a slave to them as well. For to whom much is given, much is required. We've served the effort that it's gone to just do the oil lamp and the lectern and everyone here tired giving their last bit of energy and breath and monetary resources and everything that they could, and encouragement, as Yahkentese said, and Yahadean teaching with the bloodline, and we're constantly exhorting and encouraging each other here. But our primary duty is to bring forward Yahushua, and Yahash, the boy king of Revelation 12, is going to sit in Yahshua's throne with him. So for that, we're going to look here, and we're going to look at the parallel of what is going on now on the hill in Abel, at Abel, the seventh era. Pastor, foreknowing these things would occur, foreknowing that this family of teachers after the order of Melchizedek would be bold enough to enter in boldly to your heart and mind, regardless of what the consequence was, because I saw there in Ephesians, and as Yahkentese went forward, I saw the word boldness twice, and then he moved on there. I saw the word suffering twice as well popped out. And if we are not willing to suffer, that our parents or that someone that we Ahab very dearly hates us because Yahushua is our first Ahab, we will in no likewise inherit the kingdom of Yahushua with him or anyone. Okay? Those things being said, these are the true prophecies occurring in real time. Psalm 78 and verse 1. I'm going to give you the context. It's very crystal clear, as Yeremiah said it would be. And this is coming from the boy. We studied this for a while the other night. It is very easy. It's just a walking through the line upon line is what I call it. Verse 78, verse 1, chapter 78. It's on 464 again. Listen to my law, O my people. So now we see who Yahushua was talking to. Incline your ears, those who have ears to hear. Incline your ears from the words of my mouth. Yahushua, our Father, says these things to us all. I will open my mouth in this parable, this similitude, and I will utter. There's that word, utter. Where was that at, Yahadean? Revelations chapter 11,
Yes.
in verses 2 and 3. It's also in the Psalms 19, 1 through 6, that word utter. Psalms 19, in verse 2, where it says that it's according to the Omer count, the real Omer count, the one here. The wicked beast men of Daniel chapter 8, Revelation 7, thought they could throw out a 13th moon, having a calendar set, and at the very last they discarded it and threw out a 13th moon. Again, if you look on the website, those men leading now that the seventh Moloch, Yisrayl, represented by the Western lamp, we are to see carrying that on, his message forward. This is the magnification of it, is the Mattithyah 1352. Those people up there thought to throw out the 13th moon in 2025. You can look at it there at the house of Yahweh Hallel on the hill in Clyde, Texas. There, Mattithyah 22:10, side note G4. It's a mixture because they throw all out who are now bringing forward Yeshua, who is revealing himself to his elect and remnant at this very time, in this very day, and in your hearing it's being done now by these sure testimonies. So, that word utter there is in Revelations as well, and we are the Malachim here in this family with the gold vest. You saw Yahkentese. Yahash has one, Yahadean has one, Yisrayl, and yes, there are 7 Malachim represented here. They all have gold vests, and they are uttering, and those things were not told to be uttered in Revelation because they were reserved for this very moment and only for the 5 wise on the hill and anyone abroad who will take hold of it. You can do it. Though these things should be crystal clearly understood at this time. Because right here, look at the context. Oh, my people, hear the words from my mouth. Verse 3, which we have heard and known, and our father Yisrayl told us. Verse 4, we will not hide them from our children. They're my children. They should be yours. Recounting the generation to come, the praises of YAHSHUA, his strength and his wonders he has done. He led us out of Egypt. He leads us out of sin and the bondage of it and the oppression, that we do not have liberty in him, the lie that there's not liberty in him, to bring him forward in our lives. To bring him forward, first and foremost, is that character. That is the DNA. That is the bloodline. Though, know this, flesh and bone does inherit his kingdom. Flesh and bone does inherit his kingdom. The blood will not. That carnality will not. Verse 5. And notice this. YAHSHUA set up a testimony in Yaakov. Would that parallel, brothers, be Micahyah, Yaakov?
Yes.
Praise YAHSHUA.
Praise
That testimony is the testimony of the works of YAHSHUA our King and the works of everyone who comes here and joins themselves to this joyful work and message. YAHSHUA is come. He's our big brother and friend. He's our high priest and king. And he's rejoicing in this day. This is the day of YAHSHUA. But look at that word testimony. That word testimony, G3, by the testimony and law, he means the written law that we're reading now, which they were commanded to teach their children. You are the children. We're all children. And if you don't take on that mindset of a child, YAHSHUA said, the humility of a child, you're not going to qualify. And until that last breath, we are all still qualifying. You can still repent. But that word testimony there is also in Revelation 12 in the side note. And it says their testimonies, they overcame them, the Levitical priesthood that Yahadean brought about that's now dissolved in your hearing. Is now YAHSHUA is doing a better thing. This is the mustard seed of it. Okay? He set up a testimony. So there's that word, testimony. We also saw the word of testimony of the tabernacle in the wilderness. We know again in Isaiah 15 with that word tabernacle, the testimony there, that was Numbers 9:11, Yahadean, somewhere around in there. Numbers 9:11 with that word testimony for a chain reference. The Moloch with the chain. Y'all seen the chain? It's here in my hand. As Revelation 21 said it would be. There in 9:11 of Numbers. And established the law in Yisrayl. So we have that Numbers 9:11, and in the side note there in Revelation 12, it would be the law of the prophets taught by this family and the plan. There is no other plan except for what you hear proceeding out of this tabernacle of David, of Yaakov, the tabernacle of King Yahash. These men here, we work together to bring all to YAHSHUA, all children. Verse 6, so the generation to come. Excuse me, backpedal to 5 there. The law in Israel, and he commanded our fathers that they must make them known to their children concerning YAHSHUA, concerning his will and desires. He is the deliverer. So the generation to come might know them. So even the children yet to be born would rise up and tell them to their own children and testify with the testimonies of YAHSHUA, Revelation 12. That they might put their hope in YAHSHUA and never forget the works of our Heavenly Father. That they might keep the laws of YAHSHUA and the prophecies. They are one forever. And not be like their fathers, a stubborn, rebellious generation. A generation who did not prepare their hearts. Now remember in the Ephesians there, Yahkentese just brought that word, putting on that full armor. And that word preparation. And we're looking at the parallel of coming out of Egypt. This is Passover. Your feet have to be shod with preparation. But why are they shod with preparation? You must come out from the wicked Levitical priest on the hill. Anyone tuning in abroad, here is what's going on internally. They are throwing everyone out that Yahshua revealed himself to. It's repeating in a parallel like he did 2,000 years ago. In the same way that we were delivered out, and our forefathers were delivered out at Passover some 4,000 years ago, 3,800 years ago, some approximately, it's occurring again now. And it's about to occur. You're going to have to exit from the hill. These are the first fruits that are here gathered here already. And this is the parallel. And be not stubborn like a stubborn, rebellious generation who did not prepare, did not have their feet shod with preparation. Because the scripture says you're going to cross the 254-yard. And that word study was done by Yahkentese. He pointed that out. Everyone here is going to be built up. We're builders. I'm not, and Yahshua gave that to Yahkentese. And the testimonies in Yaakov, that was given to me a few days ago with the tabernacle. And Yahadean, hey, this is showing the prophecy here, Micahyah. We ahab each other. But everyone here can see these crystal clear prophecies Yaringa said would be in the last days. And you must be able to also, or you're not going to go on. You're going to suffer that Revelation 18 fire. So we're moving forward in an effort as Yahshua to be Yahshua to you to deliver you out of Egypt. We're moving forward here in verse 9. Oh, excuse me, we're still in 8. And not be like their fathers. So we see their fathers turned and looked back in their hearts and minds to Egypt. That geopolitical mindset with the gods of gold and silver, stubborn and rebellious generation. They did not prepare their hearts, whose spirits were not true to Yahshua. He and the Father are one. He is our Father. The children of Ephraim, though armed and carrying bows, turned back in the day of battle. Yahkentese chapter 7 said, every man was prepared by Yisrayl for war, but none would go out to battle. None. Who will stand as Yeshua's army, having the full armor on, to battle in this righteous fight that we and Shaul fought and all our forefathers fought of the Yahadean among the children of Yisrayl? Verse 10, they did not keep the covenant of Yahshua. They refused to walk in his law, and they forgot Yeshua's works that he did on our behalf, laying down his own life, loving not his own life until the end. And the wonders he showed to them through healing and teaching and the giving of sight to the blind, the walking on the water, the resurrecting of Lazarus. Even being testified his corpse was stinking and rotting. In the sight of their fathers, Yahshua performed them in the land of Egypt, in the field of Zon. And I want you to remember that word, Zon, and circle it. We're going to come to that word here shortly again. This is spiritual Egypt, the parallel. There's that word field. I've heard some teaching on the hill in the past 3.5 years that was the field up there. And it is. And this is the field of Yeshua here that you're not to leave when you get here. That's the field where the most subtle serpent in the field is. There's always an opposite. Yahkentese reminds me of that. Gosh, you got a parallel. There's always an opposite for everything Yeshua's trying to do. Because again, Hillel has her minions too of fallen Malachim, which Yahadean touched on some of those entities, and they are real. They come from all the other dimensions and parallels and levels. Though keep your mind stayed now on the fallen Malachim of these fathers who turned and looked back to Egypt. They are the fallen Malachim. Because mankind, the Malachim who minister to Yahshua, are going to have offices that will make theirs pale into comparison no matter what plane they come from, if you bring forward Yahshua with this family here. Okay? So, we saw that word Egypt, field, and zone in verse 12. He divided the sea and brought them through. He made the waters, the people. That word sea is people. Revelation, Yeshua telling Yahkentese, the sea you saw was people. And remember who those people are, the waters. Go make them stand up in a heap like a wall. The waters are people. The waters in the sea which you saw were people. And they're going to be abundant here. This is the mustard, and it's going to go and grow. It will not fail or fall to the ground, nor will these prophecies return void to Yeshua. But look at who these people are. Because back to verse 1 to keep the context, my people, O Yisrayl. Okay? So, back to 13 there. They stand in the heat. Verse 14 as we move forward. We see there 14, he led them with a cloud. That cloud is a cloud of witnesses. Yeshua is going to descend with that cloud of witnesses from the hill. They're here, and we will always witness and testify on Yeshua's behalf and each other's behalf. That's the joy. And if Yeshua is with us, none will be against us. We'll worship him and each other together forever in perfect joy. He led them with a cloud by day, verse 14, and through the night by the light of fire. That's that Yahash, that zeal in those teachings. Though do know this, that Revelation 18 fire is going to burn, and in the dark of night, they will see it for miles around, ascending from that hill when he comes. That time belongs to Yahshua when he comes down that hill and descends down out of the old Jerusalem here to the new Jerusalem, where we beseech our King, come. We long to serve you as we serve each other, and all that will come we draw to Yahshua. He brought streams. He splits the rock, verse 15. He split the rocks in the wilderness. He gave them water, these teachings, these living waters, as abundance as the depths. Verse 16, he also brought streams out of the rock, the Krieg. Yahushua is the rock of our salvation. And all those here joined to him will be those saviors and messiahs and rocks. I run to Yahkentese if I have a question I don't understand. I run to Yahadean, and if they don't have it, then I can go to Yahushua. Yahushua said, you got the scriptures and the laws, Micahyah, when he sent me to them. He says, it's all there. If you need something, call me or come ask me. I'm here for you, but you have it all. And yes, I've sent Malachim to you, Micahyah, of which I am most thankful and joyful to have here with me and appreciative of. I will cause the waters to run down. Verse 16, there's that word down. You're going to come down through the valley of the shadow of death, past the horses' bridles, right there, the lifeblood of the family of Yahshua, like rivers. But they still continue to sin against him and to rebel against the Most High in the wilderness, Yahshua. They still would not repent, knowing, Pastor said, I left you the house of Micahyah, the house of Yahshua, the house of Micahyah. They will enter in boldly, not fearing, as Yahkentese says, what the wicked would do, rather to suffer with the righteousness, looking forward to the recompense of the reward with Yahshua. They tempted Yahshua, verse 18, in their hearts by asking for food to satisfy their lust and their craving. And surely you've received it. Surely they did were receiving it. The teachings like they'd never heard before as they're coming now out of Yahshua. He is the living water. Also, that food that was in their tea, the strong teachings and the advanced teachings there, that strong food. Yes, they spoke against Yeshua, saying, will the Almighty be able to set a table in the wilderness? I exhort you to go and look at the house of Yahshua Passover meal and services there that Yahshua performed for you all. This prophecy being fulfilled, that those driven out and cast away would be gathered back together at the very last of this ingathering here in this Tekufah season that's coming now. And look at that, for you will see that table that was set for us last night by Yahshua through his maidservant, Yisrayl, and through all of us. Everyone contributed. The hard work of my brothers here, everyone giving all that they could while still working diligently to maintain their personal needs. They have definitely given of their own selves and laid their wants down. Only that to separate at any time to go meet their own needs, to rush back to serve Yahshua. Again, we came out of our Father Yahushua and back to this place here. Back to this place here. In the sure true law and prophecies, we shall always return. David was a great prophet. Whether he wrote it or sang it in the Book of Psalms, it was always pointing to Yeshua, and it was always pointing to the marriage supper and the final glorification and exaltation of Yahshua. That fulfillment of Genesis 1:26, him being the first one to be in the very likeness and image. And now we have a child that is in the perfect image and becoming in the perfect image and likeness of Yahshua, having that same frequency living in him. Again, verse 17, they continued to sin. Verse 18, they tempted. He set a table for us last night. I exhort you to go to that Passover last night, setting there and see that table. Verse 20, even though he struck the rock so the waters gushed out and the streams overflowed, can he also give bread and provide meat for his people? All great things that is written in your code come down out of Yahshua. You're receiving it now. And we see the context. Who is he speaking to? Verse 1 there. And we look again at verse 20. He's reminding you who he's talking to. His people are not in China. They're not in Panama. They're not in Israel or Palestine or Iran. The people of Yahshua are gathered here at this time. And we are coming to you now in the sea of glass, and we long to gather you unto our King. He's gathering you now under his talit. Verse 21. So when Yahshua heard them, he was still in judgment, and his fire burned against Jacob, against Micahyah. Jacob, the heads are those who were supposed to be righteous heads under my headship that Yahshua had sent me to them, saying that Yahweh had told him, squaring up to me to send me to them according to the law and the prophets. You all hearing, knowing that you heard Yisrael say, I've left you Micahyah, because Pastor knew that me and my brothers here would bring forth Yahshua Messiah. He is the deliverer out of Egypt, and he is the unleavened bread. He burned against those who are supposed to be my people. Listen to my law, O my people. And anger blazed up against Yisrayl. We're the city of Yisrael up here on this hill. Those wicked Levitical priests on that hill say, those beast men. But they do not know what they say. They speak the truth, and they deceive with the truth. They twist concepts, and they twist, as Jeremiah 23 prophesied, and that prophecy being fulfilled in your hearing, as it is being understood and made crystal clear, by my mouth, as you listen to the words of my mouth, O my people. Because they had no faith in Yahshua and did not trust in the salvation, Yahshua. Psalm 91 of the Creator. Yet he commanded the skies above and opened the doors of heaven. That door of hope, the house of Yahweh, the house of Yahshua, the house of Micahyah eternal. He rained down manna on them to eat and gave them the bread of heaven. There's that bloodline. There's that manna. And we'll go more into that because the priestly family is going to have Yahshua, that order of Melchizedek, is going to have these supplements and cleanses, and the finest of everything on earth and throughout creation is going to come to the elect and the remnant of the family of Yahshua. So we're going to go more into that, but we're moving forward here. The manna is the teachings from Yahshua and all those that are under his headship and reverence him. 25, men ate the food of Malachim. Now, you ate those food of those in our forefathers that it spoke of in the chapter, in this context, in the verses before, and they turned and looked back and fell in the wilderness. You ate their food. You're eating that empty plate on that hill up there that's defiant, that doesn't bring forward the Yahshua. And what will occur? You're eating the food of fallen Malachim. They left their first estate. The first sons of Yahweh, Hallel, as Job wrote it. The sons of Yahweh Yahshua, they are one are here. at the house of YAHSHUA. Men ate the food of Malachim, and now you're even eating this food of these Malachim here, of Yeshua's Malachim, who stand and deliver those testimonies in Revelation 12, where my name is written, and the names of these men and the acts that these men here gathered with me have performed in fulfilling those prophecies. Yahkentese walks through the briars. He fulfilled several prophecies. Yahadean has fulfilled many prophecies in my sight. These prophecies that those beast men have been given strong delusion and over to a reprobate mind. When you don't keep the feast correctly, when you think to throw out moons, when you lay with your own like a dog, when you commit acts of sexual immorality, no matter what act it would be outside of marriage Yeshua's way, you're defiled. You're reprobate, and you have been given over to that reprobate mind and allowed to be given strong delusion. He sent them food in abundance. Verse 26. He loosed an east wind from the heavens. Wow. They thought, when I told them Yeshua is coming, he healed my eyes. He gave me a DNA change. I was blind. I followed the instructions. I cleansed. I was instantly healed. He's come. Our King has come. And I was rejoicing. A couple of days later, they threw their brother out of those gates. And now, knowing these prophecies, I'm very thankful. They threw me out of those gates of Sheol. Hosea 11 and verse 10 for your notes. They are become the gates of Sheol. Spiritual minded. These are the sure teachings. He loosed an east wind, and surely he did loose me. And these men here, as they thought to cast out those Malachim that he was giving power and authority to teach, and he guided the south wind. He rained meat on them like the dust. There's no need for sacrifice, Pastor said, those blood sacrifices and offerings. In the book, blood, as it is written, even Yahshua wrote it in the book of Hebrews itself with his own hand. The blood of the bulls, the teachers of these fallen Malachim and their life's work, their lifeblood, no matter how long you've been blood, sweat, and tears for Yahshua, he didn't require that. It is written that it is required to bring forth a body of believers, to lead them out of Egypt, out of sin, and to place them at the feet of Yahshua. That is the law and the prophets.
Praise Yahshua.
Praise Yahshua. That is the law and the prophets. He get the meat on them like the dust. Winged fowl, like the sands of the sea. Winged, those are our talits. The fowl, two works running side by side. As Revelation says, you were either a foul and unclean and hateful foul bird on the hill who hates Yahshua and do not care to obey every word Yisrael said, I left you Micahyah, or you are here honoring it, one pastor said, knowing that Yahshua knows that this family is going to bring forth his choice. The Yahash, Yahkentese is his choice, Yahadean, and if you come here and rejoice with us, and these sure, irrefutable Christians, you will be Yahshua's choice, one of them. Which are you? Which wing you? They wore talits. Yahadean has taught us they ate unleavened bread. They wore black suits. Yahkentese reminded last night. Anyone can do that. Yahkentese has a beautiful brand new black suit on. Looks great. It's spiritual. What are you teaching? He gave it them winged fowl, like the sands of the sea. The people. There was a whole lot of teachers, Levitical priests. See a priest leading them. But he let them fall in the midst of their camp on the hill and all around their habitations. Verse 29. So they ate and they were filled. He brought them what they had craved, these laws and prophets. But before they turned from the food they craved, even while it was yet in their mouths, Yeshua's judgment came against them, and he slew their sturdiest and struck down the young men of Yisrayl, and left them neither root nor branch. You want to talk about the root? Yahshua is the root. This family represents the root of David, the tabernacle of David, the tabernacle of David, the tabernacles of David. Okay? In spite, verse 32, of all this, they went on sinning and did not believe in his wondrous works that he was doing with his family here at the east sheep gate in the wilderness. G1, continually makes men insensible, so that by no plagues are they willing to repent. They just, no, I would rather taste death than go submit to my brothers, subject myself to my brothers. (33) So he wasted their days in vanity. They did not believe in his wondrous works, so he wasted their days in vanity. Vanity fountain, right up there at the corner of the 254. Yahshua is a fountain of life spiritually. If you don't bring him forward, and they don't on that hill, it's just a vanity fountain. Okay? And their years in terror, this last 3.5 years, you've trembled and tried to silence the message inside yourself, or turn a blind eye or blind ear to it, as it is written, hiding your face from these sure and true prophecies, which are the voice of the Lamb, Yahushua, and the face. This is his voice, these law and prophecies, and of the deliverer, Yahushua, who delivered us out of Egypt. And this is the face of Yahushua, the life-giving laws and prophets. When he slew them, they sought him, and they repented and sought Yahushua diligently. But who will be slain? Who was slain? Who chose to be slain, and when, and how, and when did it come upon them? Did not an earthquake open up in one moment and swallow them up whole in the wilderness? How did he slay them? He slew them with the message, which is the message that Yahshua our King has come. He is here among us as he who serves. He can drive a truck. He can go up and down the road. I saw him yesterday. He shalom me with a big smile, and it brought joy to me. Or he can allow and remove his protective hand, and an earthquake can swallow anyone up at any time. The microbes obey him in any judgment or decision he chooses at any given moment. There's that. How will we be slain? Either with the message, or will our flesh be cut off? Will we be cut off from among the living for disobedience, brought upon our own selves? For their hearts, verse 35, they remembered that Yahushua was their rock, the few that will flee off. That we have remembered him here, we keep him in remembrance. And the Most High Father was their Redeemer. Wow! Yahweh is said his son in Psalm 91 and throughout continually Shaul over and over and over. Yahushua is the Redeemer. Yahushua is the rock and the Redeemer. But then they would flatter, he is the Krieg. That's the etymology there in Scottish or Irish. You can look it up. It's of that descent there, that word Krieg. But then they would flatter him with their mouths while they lied to him with their tongues. That's what's going on the hill. They walk by him and turn their head and flatter him and flatter each other. 37, for their hearts were not right with him, neither were they steadfast. And whatever does not come from the heart, side note G2, is hypocrisy. And that's what's going on the hill. They don't bring forward Yahushua. They were neither steadfast, true, and faithful in his covenant. And to be here, you have to be here to be called those faithful, true, and faithful brides to Yahushua. But Yahushua, the merciful, forgave their iniquity, those who will come off, and did not completely destroy them. Yes, many times he withdrew his anger and would not arouse all his judgment, holding back the storms at their fake feast that he told me he held back. And it would not allow his judgment to be aroused. 39, he remembered that they were but flesh, a breath which departs and does not return. 40, How often they rebelled against him in the wilderness and grieved him in the desert. 41. Yes, again, they tempted Yahushua and provoked the Holy One of Yisrayl. Is not Yahushua holy, harmless, and defiled? Is it not written? Is he the only one? They did not remember his authority, the day that he redeemed them from the enemy as our lamb, as our deliverer. When he performed his signs, the lamb, as we follow, he is our deliverer, our redeemer. We follow the lamb, Revelation says. Wherever he goes, we're being trained to follow him, wherever he chooses to place his name and authority. They did not remember his power and that he redeemed them from the enemy. They tried to provoke him. For when he performed, 43, his signs in Egypt and his wonders in the field of Zon, there's that word Zon again, and you can look back over there to verse 12 in the same chapter. There's that word Zon in that field. 44, turning the rivers and streams into blood. It's going to come down that hill past a horse's bridle. That's rivers and streams, that river Euphrates, represented by the Abel Way there, represents the river Euphrates. Verse 45, he sent flies against them to devour them, and frogs, the visions of the three frogs, one in the pond, one that banged on the window, and one in the sky there by Laos, or the bear of Daniel chapter 8. He gave their crops to the grasshopper, the fruit of their labor to the locusts. He killed their vines. Well, the bear there in your fake feast said, you're the vine. We're the vineyard and the vine up here on the hill. YAHSHUA is the vine. You are the wild grape vineyard that he had to burn up, and now he's planted here, this mustard seed vineyard here that's growing, green and growing. He killed their vine with hail. Hail and fire and brimstone. Hail, it rained down fire and brimstone and hail. And their sycamores with frost. He delivered their cattle to hail and their herds to the flames. Lightning, like in the whirlwind. And those ones who uttered there, as it says in verse 2 here in this chapter, there was lightning, and they uttered, and there was lightning and flashing and thundering from those seven thunders. He sent against them his blazing anger, his judgment, his indignation, and trouble by sending a band of destroying Malachim among them. These here have come to destroy the works of the adversaries of YAHSHUA and to bring him forward in the plan. Through teaching, we break down strongholds. Verse 50, he prepared a path for his anger. He did not spare them from death. He allowed them to perish in their rebellion and handed their lives over to the plague. And as it is written in Revelations 18 and verse 4, I and those here say, come out from her, my people. Verse 1, hear my voice, O my people, that you partake not of her sin and receive not of her plagues. You see one word in one place. There's that word plagues again, so that you can see the plan. King David was one of the greatest prophets, and David was prophesying about YAHSHUA, just as from the first dot to the jot was pointing to the one who has delivered us from the bondage of sin here out of Egypt. Our forefathers, he did it, most of which fell. Now it's occurring again. They will fall there on the hill, as it is shown here. We're going to move forward here. He destroyed all the firstborn in Egypt, not leaving them root or branch. In that spiritual Egypt, that word Egypt on that hill, that spiritual Egypt, Yahkentese has brought this to you over and over in his teachings. There in Revelation chapter 7. Revelation chapter 11, that spiritual city, Jerusalem and Sodom, those acts of sexual immorality, you better make it real and see the similitude and parallel, because only the baptized members of the seventh era are supposed to be able to see the parallels and similitudes. He destroyed all the firstborn in Egypt, the first fruits of manhood in the tents of Ham. But notice that there were tents. Isaiah has written, it's written, the tents of Yahadean are going to be saved first. Verse 52, but he brought his people out. He brought his people out. Revelations 18, the bride and the bridegroom will come out, and we will follow the Lamb forevermore, being with him forevermore. Like a flock, praise YAHSHUA. He led them like sheep through the wilderness. The wilderness, here we are, here it is. The wilderness of Abel. He guided them in safety, and they did not fear. But the sea engulfed their enemies. The woman opened up her mouth to teach and helped the woman and swallowed up any negative flood, but any positive flood, as Yahadean Yahash said, and the Malach asked him what he saw, that pot of boiling that was facing the north, where all the waters in north to the northwest here from this location here, where that hill is, about 3/4 of a mile to the north and the west and the north. That pot has now boiled over. You're awake, and this message, that frequency this day, is delivering you out of the bondage of Egypt and sin. Believing into the prophecies that are being spoken. Oh, my people, to you. He brought his people out like a flock. He led them as sheep through the way. He guided them in safety, and they did not fear. The seas engulfed their enemies, and it shall be so again. He brought them to the boundary of the Holy Land. This is the land of Israel, dedicated land. And if it belongs to YAHSHUA, and it's the house of YAHSHUA, I don't know how much more life-giving that can get. To maintain his right hand. Had won. Pastor said, you better make sure you're on the winning team. And there's only one. And that is the house of YAHSHUA. YAHSHUA is the winning team, his family. He drove out the nations before them and assigned them by lots their inheritance and caused them to dwell in their tents. The tents of Yahadean will be saved first, as the tribes of Yisrayl. But they tempted and provoked YAHSHUA the Most High and the Father, and did not keep his testimonies on the hill. The testimonies of YAHSHUA, Revelations chapter 12, that we bring forward. But they rebelled and broke faith like their fathers, their forefathers who fell in the wilderness. Remember, we saw that in this same very chapter. Nothing pleases YAHSHUA more than children that continue than when displeases rather YAHSHUA than when the children continue in wickedness which their fathers had done. You can't choose to come out and serve YAHSHUA. You do have a choice who you serve and who you serve with. You're either serving with Yahweh Hallel's house or Yahweh YAHSHUA's house. You're either serving next to those who are deliberately acting out against this message and plan, these sure and true prophecies, or you're going to come here and rejoice and receive these blessings from YAHSHUA that only come down out of him. They 57, but they rebelled and broke faith like their fathers. They turned aside like a treacherous bow. They provoked YAHSHUA to judgment with their high places on the hill. Verse 58, Psalms 78 and verse 58 on page 465. They moved him to jealousy with their God worship. When YAHSHUA, with their changing of the calendar, and they're thinking to change it, and thinking to change the Tekufah season, and the laws, and the ordinance, and the statutes attached to them. 59, and when YAHSHUA heard them, he was enraged, and exceedingly abhorred them. And YAHSHUA abandoning his dwelling, YAHSHUA abandoned that. Well, gonna come a time when life-giving frequency ain't on this hill no more. In Shiloh, the tent on that hill. For the tent of meeting in the wilderness shall be again. It is. Behold, the tabernacle of testimony in the wilderness. His tent he pitched among men. He gave up his strength, the ark of the covenant, to captivity. And surely he gave everything, even his first begotten son, YAHSHUA, our deliverer, the unleavened bread, our high priest and king. He is the Passover. He gave it all up. His beauty, the ark of the covenant, the beauty, the Yahadean, the beauty, the delight. To the hand of the foe. And he handed his people over to the sword, whether it be the message or that Revelations 18:5 and all the plagues mentioned there, judgment beginning in the land, in the house of Yahweh first, and in the house of YAHSHUA first. He handed over his people to the sword and vented his judgment against his inheritance. Fire consumed their young men, and their maidens were not praised in wedding songs. This is the marriage teachings of the Lamb. Behold, this is the marriage supper. This is your betrothal to the Lamb. The only way you can be considered faithful and trustworthy is to remember that vow and renew that covenant here, that YAHSHUA is your Redeemer and bought and paid for you. To give light, to be worthy of praise, renowned and shine, as Yisrayl being worthy, as Yahkentese and the King Yahadean Yahash, and definitely Yahadean, who ministers here to the people of YAHSHUA as well. Even others who are listening, who are part of this menorah, beloved sisters and brothers who've joined themselves to this work, who Yeshua's healing, who have ailments at this time, that have worked their whole lives in reverence to YAHSHUA and are redeemed by him. Their widows wailed no lament. Rather, they took the lectern in blasphemy, thinking in presumptuous pride that Yisrayl would not be given scores upon scores of more wives if they did not obey his choices and decisions and judgments. I left you Micahyah. 65, continuing here in the prophecies, Psalms 78, verse 65. When YAHSHUA awoke from a sleep, not that he needs any, like a warrior rejoicing from wine. The teachings. YAHSHUA is rejoicing at this message, this sword that's going forth to slay. The slain, Pastor said, of Yahweh, of YAHSHUA are going to be many. You're the many on the hill, but only few will allow themselves to receive it. But there will be many, because as Yahkentese taught us, it appears there's not many. He made this comment to me, teaching me this, or reminding me, encouraging me, exhorting me, helping me to stay strong, that the legions upon legions of Malachim and the army of Malachim YAHSHUA has far exceed the number of Hallels. Far exceed. Praise YAHSHUA. YAHSHUA is rejoicing at these teachings. He struck his enemies back, that word wine. And YAHSHUA has brought out the best wine for the last. They are turning the water into wine at the marriage supper. So that wine should make you think of when YAHSHUA performed. We saw all these great acts that he performed. And that should make you think of the wine, the water he turned to wine. He struck his enemies back, and he covered them with everlasting shame, because they would not do it themselves. They would not loathe, as Job said, his own self. Verse 67, then he rejected the tents of Yosef, and he did not choose the tribe of Ephraim, but he chose the tribe of Yada, the Mount Zion, which he ahabed, the east sheep gate, which is situated always to the east. He built his sanctuary lofty like the mountains, and enduring as the earth, which he has established forever. YAHSHUA's kingdom here in this house and family is a kingdom without end. It is written. And he chose David, his wise servant. And we see now Yahkentese coming from that bloodline, YAHSHUA told me. Yahadean coming from it. Yisrayl coming from it. I've descended from that line, and now my cousin, we see that parallel there. My cousin, just the same as I being Yahadean to him and bring him forward, Yahadean brought forth his cousin, YAHSHUA. And now I bring forth the boy king, and he will be YAHSHUA to you, my cousin, Yahash. That bloodline. He chose David, his servant, and took him from the sheepfolds. This boy goes out every day he's here. Micahyah, can I please feed the sheep? And surely he does, both physically, those there, and my sheep. All those who Ahab, YAHSHUA, Ahab, Yahadean, or Yahkentese, or anyone gathered here, will feed my sheep. We will feed YAHSHUA's sheep. These sure prophecies of David in chapter 78. From behind the ewes he brought him. To a shepherd, Jacob, his people. Wow, he brought the child and all the children of Yisrayl to Jacob, Micahyah, where his people will be gathered. And Yisrayl, his inheritance. This is the house of Yisrayl here. The one true seed of the two witnesses will stand upon their feet, as we've done. Yahkentese did it. He stands. You can stand on your feet. You can take a stand on whatever you want. But if you don't stand with this family on that sea of glass in this message, it doesn't matter. You're not going to be standing long. Rather, you will become powder and ash. You're going to stand up on your feet. You're going to come out. You're going to come to the house of YAHSHUA. This is Yisrael's family, the one true seed. So David led them like a shepherd according to the integrity of his heart, the seed of his intelligence, and by the skillfulness of his hands. The skillfulness of the helpmeets here. The skillfulness of Yahshua's helpmeets. We are Yahshua's helpmeets. Yes, coming out of Egypt showed a covenant. The same way as a woman and a man enter into a covenant with each other. We entered into a marital vow with YAHSHUA, the Redeemer and the Deliverer, when he brought us out of Egypt some years ago. Only now that to return, and now he's going to do it again, but only few will put on that white garment. They are those here and those who will escape. Those losses sustained aren't losses and choices that you get to choose. That chapter goes hand in hand with Isaiah chapter 19. Where are we at, Yahkentese, on time? How far in am I? An hour? So we're going to be going over. That was part one for my part there of the coming out of Egypt, showing that David was a form of a deliverer. That these men here are forms of saviors and deliverers. Moshe being a form, and now YAHSHUA being the deliverer, and all those who will be YAHSHUA will be delivered or deliver those here to this family of teachers who will teach and bring forth these sure prophecies concerning YAHSHUA, his plan, his wills and desires and choices. And I think there's a couple of things, notes here I wanted to make mention of. You know, again, to bring to your precious minds, you're in training. We're in training to follow the Lamb. Wherever he goes, we are his brides. Again, Yahadean brought about the staff. This is the staff of YAHSHUA here. I am just one of his staff. He is the shepherd. He is the shepherd. And this is his staff that's gathered here. And you've never seen an east wind crumble, so we know that this is not speaking of a person, rather of the east wind message that's coming. So keep these things that's been taught to you there in your mind, forefront of your minds. YAHSHUA is the reward promised to those who depart from iniquity. That's our theme here. So I liked what the Yahkentese brought there, because he brought there in Luke, he read out of Luke, and I want you to consider Luke 24:16. Don't allow your eyes anymore. I mean, it was right there in Psalms chapter 78, that your ears, that your eyes be open, that seal be open, that you could recognize YAHSHUA, his character, as we bring him forward in our own lives, and his character there on the hill for only a short time longer, as that frequency is going to be leaving and descending out of that hill. I saw that word suffer there in Luke 24:26. To be a deliverer to the nations, you want to be a teacher, I'll tell you right now, you're going to suffer. They're not going to swing those gates wide open. Most all will not. Some shall, very few, as it's always been. But it's going to be through diligent teaching and long suffering, just as those here have suffered. Okay, so we're going to be coming back to you again, hopefully tomorrow morning. We'll counsel with YAHSHUA on that matter. There was one thing I wanted to say. Xander, put your tallit on, please, and come up beside me. There was our Yahash. There was one other thing here before we close out that I wanted to read, because there in the book of Hebrews, what chapter you were in there?
It was in the 7th chapter.
Put this one on him over there.
Oh,
Yes.
This one?
Yes.
Okay.
He was in chapter 7. Thank you, Yahkentese. Yes, he was in chapter 7. You were in chapter 7, yes, Yahadean?
Yeah.
Yes. Again, prophecy, like Pastor said, is my thing, and we all came here. We love the law. That those prophecies intrigued us, that a man could expound and magnify and extol the ephah to the extent that Pastor did. And we can look there in chapter 7 in verse 1. Yahkentese, Yahadean said, triggered this in my mind. He spoke on this 10th, and it's mentioned in other places the other night. We were having supper together. And Yahadean just mentioned it again. It's in Hebrews 7 and verse 1. Just wait. Stand still. Hebrews 7 and 1, and then, now look, after returning from the slaughter of the kings, the priest of YAHSHUA Most High, Melchizedek YAHSHUA is the Melchizedek, verse 1. Notice, after the slaughter, or allowing them to either be slain with the message or to fall, remove that hand where the microbes would cause an earthquake to come. The kings, and blessed him. And Abraham also gave a 10th part of all. Surely, a 10th part of the city, as it is written in Revelation on that hill. A 10th part of this first kingdom of the 10 that met in 2014 with the papacy is going to fall. And all with the mindset of the Levitical wicked priesthood on the hill here in Clyde, Texas, at the house of Yahweh Halel. A 10th part of this first part is going to fall in the wilderness, because that 10th part is going to be given to YAHSHUA. The prophecies are a prophetic showing, and it will be given, and all things are his. That 10th part was given. There's your parallel there in Revelations as well, where that 10th part fell. It's also again mentioned twice in verse 4. Now consider how great this man YAHSHUA is, who even the patriarch Abraham looked forward to and gave a 10th part of the plunder. And there's that word plunder. And know that that chain references Isaiah chapter 13, speaking and saying, my people in the last days who enter in through the gates and are called by my name. Zechariah chapter 14, saying you will be plundered. My people in the last days who will enter into the gate, my gates, and who are called by my name, you're going to be plundered. YAHSHUA, knowing all this, writing the book of Hebrews to you. At this time, Yahash, come on up. Relax, come on up. Smile. Better paint a smile on. Yahash ready for lunch. You ain't getting no lunch unless you smile. Yahash?
I'm only hungry for the scripture.
You only, nice. He said he's hungry for the scripture. Now at this time, Yahash, one moment. to understand.
Yahweh,
Loud.
Yahweh bless, Yahshua bless you and keep you. Yeshua make his face shine upon you and be merciful to you. Yeshua lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. So they will put my name on the children of Yisrael, and I will bless them.
Praise Yahashua.
Praise Yahashua.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
All right, take your seat there. You want to close us out with a prayer? You got it? You do? Now we're going to bless Yahashua and thank him for bringing us out of sin. Okay, all righty. The boy king is desired to pray. Step up and speak loud with authority now, son. He's doing well. Hold your hands up high and honor Yahashua. Hold your hands up high. Go ahead.
Dear Heavenly Father Yeshua, this is the soul of Yahash, Micahyah, Yahadean Yahash, and Yahkentese. Asking permission to come before you, though. Shabbat shalom, great Father Yeshua. I wanted to say thank you for this beautiful Sabbath day, high Sabbath, and feast. Thank you for dying on the stake for us. Thank you for this feast of unleavened bread, and for all the scriptures you told us, and for all the blessings you've done to us. Bless you, Yeshua. Really bless you. Bless everyone in here. Heal everyone's needs. In Yeshua's name, Hosanna to King Yeshua. Hallelujah, Yahshua.
Hallelujah, Yahashua. Praise Yahashua.
Praise
Great job,
Yahashua.
son. I'm well pleased in you.
Praise
All right, take your seat. And you'll be seeing more of King Yahash in days to come. He's being called up, as Revelation 12 said. We'd like to invite you all to join us. It's the goal to follow the pattern Yeshua gave to Pastor Yisrayl, the seventh Malik. So we look to join you tomorrow on the first Omer. Yeshua bless your understanding, and we hope you all have a great Sabbath. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.